being here, and I'll let him get set up with reporting before I get deep into it, and just make an announcement that there is a sign-in sheet coming around, a piece of paper just to sign your names, to say, hey, I was here, and that's just simply for numbers. We won't be blowing your phones up or emails, okay? So it's safe. So yeah, without further ado, just want to say thank you, Pastor Lance, for the invitation to come and share about what we do. And I hope that at the end of this presentation, this information, what we do, is relevant to you and really motivates you to get to join and be a part of what we're doing in the community. So just to get started, I just want to share a little bit about NAMI, and we'll go into our Bridges to Care program and our teen mental health program and what we offer there, which is the focus for today. We're part of a larger organization that's national, and so we're just a chapter. We have multiple chapters across the nation, and we're specific to Greater San Antonio. And we've been here for quite some time, 40 years to be exact, in the Greater San Antonio area. And our values are embedded in hope, inclusion, empowerment, compassion, and fairness. And our focus is on education, advocacy, listening, and then leading. And so it goes from learning and increasing our knowledge about mental health and the various aspects regarding it, and then becoming advocates on behalf of mental health and being a part of raising that awareness in our communities, and then taking time to listen to stories, which is something that is a core foundation of what we do at NAMI, is listening to others' stories. So then from that, we can lead and advocate in a way that's meaningful to those that we're speaking on the behalf of. So I'm gonna have our youth lead come, Michelle, and she's going to take over from here, and I'll be back to share more about the Bridges to Care.
Hi everybody, I'm Michelle Chavez, the youth program team lead. So if you want to take a look at the facts that are up here, take a moment to read them, take them in. What are the feelings that are arising as you read those statistics? Does anybody want to share the feelings that come up as you read those statistics?
It's very prevalent.
Very prevalent, yes. There's a little bit more statistics. What feelings are arised with those statistics? Is it shocking that that's that age group?
Concerning.
Concerning. Yes.
It's concerning that there's such a delay between symptoms and treatment.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since there's so much happening in that age group, right? There's so much pressure at that age. Not only are you having hormones because your body is changing, you're changing from being a child to an adult physically, psychologically, right, emotionally. All of that is happening, and it causes so much pressure that a lot of the times it can flip the switch on a gene if they have history of mental illness in their family, and end up struggling then with mental illness on top of just the high pressure of being a teen, right? So this kind of gave the idea for NAMI to really focus on the youth, since they are the group that is really struggling. They have so much happening in their lives, and us as the adults, as the caregivers in the community, have such a great responsibility to support them in such a high time of stress and need. And the way we go about that at NAMI, a lot of it, like Genesis mentioned, is educating and supporting, helping the community be their own resource right? We want to empower them so that they're able to have that conversation and they're not as intimidated when they go to professionals, right? It's a big jump to go from not talking about mental health at all to then going and seeing a therapist. It's very scary. Even me, when I went to go to start my therapy journey, studied psychology my whole life, had a mom who wanted to be a therapist. I told a friend she has to take me because if not, I was going to go kicking and screaming because I was terrified because it's such a big jump, right? So the way NAMI kind of handles that, right, is we provide support for families and the loved ones around them to help advocate and support that loved member. And it's divided into different sections, and these are the national program. So in order to be part of the NAMI groups, right, you have to have these classes you offer. So these are the basic courses that we offer. They're the crisis courses, meaning that family already is in crisis, already has a family member with a mental health condition. So NAMI Basics, that one is for any family that has someone with a mental health condition under the age of 21, 22, right? So you're learning how to advocate for a minor. Right? You're learning about the conditions, you're learning how do you communicate with someone that has a mental health condition, how are you doing it in a way that's respecting their human dignity, and you're able to navigate that conversation with them. And then they're going to go ahead and teach you also how do you navigate the school system, right? How do you advocate for your child in a system that's already super overwhelmed, but in a way that's going to be able to help them continue to educate and give them the fair chance that they need to learn. And then on top of that, they also teach you how to navigate the juvenile justice system, because unfortunately, a lot of the times our kiddos with mental health conditions end up in the juvenile justice system because a lot of adults don't know how to navigate a conversation with a child with mental illness, right? So they're going to go ahead and teach you how to navigate that, provide support with you. But the other big thing that this class will teach you how to care for yourself, right? You're pouring into your child, trying to take care of them, right? It's a big, big job to be a caregiver. You got to make sure you work up at school too. So they're going to teach you how to do courses of giving, self-care giving, making sure you don't get compassion fatigue, and then making sure you have the support systems in place to help you navigate that. Because it really takes a village to raise a child, especially a child that is struggling with mental health conditions, right? So that's NAMI Basic. NAMI Family to Family, same concept, it's just the difference is that how do you advocate for an adult, right? Advocating for a minor with NAMI Basics is very different than advocating for someone who is an adult, right? You're navigating a different system. So Family to Family, right, they go ahead and teach you how do you communicate with that adult family member, how do you advocate for them, and how to care for yourself as you're taking care of an adult member in your life that is struggling with mental health conditions. NAMI Homefront, those are for those that have family members in active military or vets that are struggling with PTSD. Right? That is specific because it's a specific type of trauma and a specific way of navigating that. And so they're there to provide support and education on how you support that loved member. And then NAMI Peer-to-Peer, those are for those that they themselves have a mental health condition and want to learn how to advocate for themselves, and how to have support systems and how to live a fulfilling life in a society that sometimes isn't very supportive of people with mental health conditions. Right? So those are our basic courses, our crisis courses. And then we also have support groups. It is great, amazing to have education and the book knowledge, but it also is very important to have that emotional support and be able to just get it out. Sometimes you just need to have that conversation with people who are also in the same situation that you're able to connect with. So we have NAMI Connect, and that is for anybody that has a mental health condition. A lot of those are offered online. I think we only have one that's offered in person, but these are offered online because we know the struggle of getting out of your house with a mental health condition. There's so many things you have to navigate in order to do that. So we want to make sure that we are able to be there and have a program for them where they can talk about things in the comfort and safety of their own home. And then we have NAMI Family Support Group. It's, like I said, it's very hard to take care of a loved one with a mental health condition. And sometimes you just need to hear that there are other families who are also struggling, right? Because it's going to be a struggle, it's going to be hard, and you're going to need to hear that from other families so you're not putting all this great pressure on yourself. And also, there's a lot of humor that happens as you're coping with that, and it's great to just have a great laugh with somebody else that's also struggling. That's also, for example, 2 family members with kiddos who have autism that like to book it, right? That's just how they deal with being overwhelmed. They can come together and laugh together about how they're chasing after their kid, right? And it's such a stressful moment at the time, but you can connect with other family members that also have those similar struggles. So we want to provide that space for that. And then NAMI Smarts for Advocacy. We're able to teach people what is the process to advocate through policies and through governmental structures to be able to make sure that our society structure is getting better to support people with mental health needs. We had the wonderful opportunity of going to the Capitol in May and be able to advocate. Me and my coworker Caro were able to go and advocate for the 988 bill to make sure we're getting funding still for that crisis hotline. And then we were able to talk to some people about what we were hearing the youth struggle with. We went to talk to somebody about hearing so many youth struggle about cyberbullying and making sure that there's resources that are actually functional for them to advocate for themselves and to help kind of reduce how many kids are struggling with cyberbullying. So NAMI is really involved in making sure we are also changing the structures that we live with so that way it is easier to be someone in our society that struggles with mental health. Okay. And then NAMI on campus is another one great thing that we're starting up. Actually, what is it, UTSA? UTSA has a NAMI on campus now. We have a wonderful freshman who is heading that. We want to make sure there are spaces on campus where the youth are really leading and creating spaces for themselves, because college is that time where a lot of the mental health conditions start coming out. There's so much pressure in your teen years and even more pressure as you're becoming a young adult. And again, a lot of that might trigger things, so we want to make sure that youth are able to have those conversations, and that's how we help. We are there to provide spaces for them and information for them and structure and mentorship as they're navigating, advocating for themselves on campuses. And then NAMI Walks, again, so we are an affiliate, which means we don't get any money from national. We fundraise our own money, and so we have big events for fundraising, and this is one of our big events. If you are interested, go ahead and scan the QR code, but you come out and you walk in support of people with mental health conditions. You can form teams, make it a competitive thing. This year's theme is fun, being kind of a superhero for mental health, and that we're all coming together to support that. So please come out and support us and being able to make sure that our programs still continue to be free. And then NAMI Bridges to Care, right? We talked about our crisis program, right? All those classes that teach everybody, all the families that are in crisis already. But out of our community came a need to have pre-crisis programming. What does it mean to be mentally healthy and well and keep it well before we enter crisis, or not enter crisis at all? How do we make sure we keep that health just as much as we take care of our bodies, diet, exercise? What are the exercises? What are the diets for our mind, for our mental health wellness? And so that's what that program comes to answer, and we're going to have Genesis come back up to talk about that program.
Thank you, Michelle. So, Bridges to Care program. It was developed out of a need that arose or that was brought to the attention of our executive director, Doug, during our annual Pathways to Hope conference. Held annually in August, and there was one particular conference where faith leaders were in a session, one of the workshops, and they were expressing that they were receiving increased information from congregants that were experiencing higher levels of depression and anxiety, which made sense because this was during or around the time of COVID. And the faith leaders, they were tapped out. They didn't know how to assist these congregants in a way that was relevant and meaningful and effective. And they themselves were overwhelmed, and so they needed help being equipped with knowledge, but also hands to assist connecting their congregants to resources, and also creating safe spaces within their faith communities for their congregants and even community members around the local area that they serve to come and get assistance, and just a safe space for companions to walk alongside them in their mental health or mental illness recovery, right? And so these faith leaders, along with our executive director, Doug, and the founder for the Faith Initiative here in San Antonio, Dr. Reverend Ann Helmke, they developed this Bridges to Care program. And it was to help develop companions, help to educate, and also create community member spaces where community members are helping community members, and bringing them closer to, or bridging those gaps between the resources and those who need them. I shared the history of that. We began, the program began October 1st, 2020. And so again, there's 3 levels of how the cohorts program work, and this is where we have our congregations that are active in our program. And it starts first with them going through our Wellness Champion training. It's a 7-module training where once they're done, then they can form their mental health team or ministry, whatever they want to call it, within their congregations. And once they do that, then we connect them with other congregations in our program. So we start with the congregant level with the mental health teams or ministries within the congregations. But then once I do that, then we connect the congregations with one another in what we call cohorts. And it's usually congregations that are close in geographical proximity. Or if congregations have already been connected to others that they know or have worked with already, they'll reach out to them and say, hey, do you want to be a part of this program with me? It's somewhat organic, really. And so we connect them. Right now we've got 15 different cohorts, and about 4 to 7 in each cohort. And then we connect the congregations with schools, district offices, community organizations that are relevant to what they're needing for the community and community members and congregants that they serve. So some community members, they need help with their kids in the schools. So you have some congregations that have come together in the cohorts to provide funding for certain things within the school system, whether that's bus tickets. Some of the students, they ride the bus to school, whether that's funds for teachers' appreciation, just anything those schools are needing. You have other cohorts that their community members are needing more assistance with, like therapy services. And so we want to connect them with counselors and different mental health professionals in their area that can serve their community members. It's really based around the need of the congregants and the community members that you're serving. And so again, our goal is to expand our reach in education and training. So we started with the Wellness Champion program, which focuses on themes such as trauma, informed care. Pastor Lynn said that we've got deacons, ushers, and security. If you're a deacon, just raise your hand. Whoa! Wow, that's incredible. So I don't know if you all have ever encountered this, but I served as an elder at my previous congregation, New Creation Christian Fellowship, and have been in ministry for about 20 plus years now. I started very young, but as a leader, I've experienced people coming to the altar for prayer, for ministry, words of encouragement, whatever that is, right? But sometimes there's been something beyond the need of prayer. And have you ever been in a situation where you felt helpless in trying to assist the person that's come to you? So you leave them with, be encouraged. You leave them with, God is your help. all the things that we try to say, right, that will help to bring peace, but there's something in our heart knowing that they need something beyond that prayer or that moment. They need physical assistance, soul care, meaning care of their mind, their emotions, and their physical bodies. And sometimes we don't have all the answers, and that's okay. So what we do is we lean into learning the resources that we have, and one of our course modules is mental health resources that allows us to learn what practical resources we can offer to those that we're serving. It's such an aid to go beyond. And prayer, it's not a either or, it's an and both. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna touch and agree that God will work in your situation. And also, I have a resource that can help you with that child that might need some services beyond just, the children's ministry or, what we do here, right? That might need some assessment done, right? Those types of things. And so it's a both and. So we have our Wellness Champion training. We have our 6 modules, and I'll share with you guys post-presentation that list of modules and help you get registered per your interest. And then we extended beyond that, and now we've been able to add our teen mental health program that has 2 sides to it. It has the youth mental health champion side, which is focused on adults that are caregivers to youth, parents, teachers, anybody who serves, youth ministers, anyone who serves youth populations from ages 12 to 18. And then we have the teen mental health champion program that's specific to teens. And so it's currently in schools, and we finally were able to get it into one of our congregations in the program, Harper's Chapel, and they'll be graduating June 6th. So excited about that. And I'm gonna have our colleague Catalina come up, and she's going to share a bit more about the teen and youth mental health program.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am a youth development specialist, so I work directly with the youth. And so what we do, our goal is to really start the conversation on mental health with them, right? So we start off with our introduction, really giving them an idea of what we're gonna talk about with them. So we start off with mindfulness, right? So we give them tools on how to emotionally regulate themselves. I mean, of course, they're teens, their emotions are everywhere, it's normal. And it's really just start that conversation, right, with them. And then we go into building healthy boundaries in their lives, right? A lot of the times they don't understand what boundaries are, and so we give them the definition, and then we give them tools on how to build that in their lives. And then we go into healthy relationships, right? Because with healthy relationships come with healthy boundaries. And then after that, we go into cyber safety, and it's not necessarily just learning how to be safe on the internet, but also understanding that their mental health can be affected through the internet, right? So we go really more in depth on cyber safety, and on cyberbullying and how common it is, right? Because they're always on the internet. And then we end off with Cooked. Cooked is a really, really heavy presentation because we go more in depth on self-harm, suicide, and dating violence. And it's really just starting that conversation with them. A lot of the times they don't have that conversation started, so it's really just bringing that to them so that they can have that conversation and really just expand out. But yes, so we do the same thing for the adults. The difference is that we do the adults online, like Genesis has said. And so we like to do the teen more in person because they like to engage more. We do more hands-on activities, which is really, really awesome. We do a water bottle activity where they put a bunch of stuff in a water bottle and then they shake it. And a lot of the times they take it home with them, and it's like a treasure almost. And it's really beautiful to see. But yes, so the adults are online. You can register online. We can help you with that if you are interested. But basically with the adults, we do the same conversation, right? So that you can go home to your kid and talk about those things. A lot of the times they get so scared because they feel like they're alone, right? I grew up and I have 2 older brothers, and I felt like no one understood me. I always felt like I was by myself. And it's really just telling the youth that you're not alone. There's people here who want to help you. We're trying to learn all of these things for you so that we can conversate with you about these things. But yes, so the adults, it's the same courses. So it's mindfulness, healthy boundaries, healthy relationships, cyber safety, and cooked. It's just a longer presentation for the adults because the youth, they cannot be sitting down for an hour and a half, but you can. So yeah, so we really just try to, and with the youth, of course, we try to do more like the time of like when they're in class, so we do 45 minutes with them. And plus that's just the way their attention span is. But yeah, so the adults is the same thing as the youth. Yesterday, we actually did an all-day youth retreat, and we were able to graduate, I think, about 40 students. So it was a really, really big thing because it was our first time doing it, and the youth were very, very engaged. For it being all day and them just finishing school this past week, it was just amazing to see. So, but yes, that is what our program is. Let's see if I missed anything. So yes, it's a 5-module. Oh, this is the wellness champion. You went over this, right? Okay. Sorry, I'm so used to like being with youth and presenting to youth. Like the adults, it's a little different. It's a different world. But yeah, so we do the introduction, then we go into the 5 courses, and then we do makeup sessions. Because obviously kids they miss school, they miss certain classes. So we go back and we make sure that they have all of the tools. The thing that we do leave them with are workbooks. And no, it's not this really thick thing. It's very slim. One of the students was like, "Miss, I thought it was going to be a bigger book. I thought you were going to give us a bigger book." I'm like, no, it's really short and sweet. And it's really just giving them the tools so that they can go back home. And if they ever are in distress, if they're going through, something that they need to talk to, we give them resources as well that they can go to. And it's really just letting them know that they're not alone. And then we have a graduation for them where we give them cupcakes, we celebrate them for being able to handle us for 8 sessions. But yes. And then this is for the adults. And then also with the adults, for you to complete, you do have to do the companionship training. The youth don't have to take that because they cannot be sitting down for 3 hours. Oh my God, that would be so hard to have them still for 3 hours. But yes. So the adults do have a little bit more training that they have to go to, but everything is on the website. Okay, so the pathways to hope. All right, so me and Michelle are gonna do some mindfulness skills with y'all, and it's something that we go through with the youth, just to give you an idea of what we do with them, okay? So the first one is box breathing. So we teach them this, right? And it's very, very simple tool. We always tell them this is something that isn't very exposed of them, right? It's something that they can do at their own time. No one has to know that they're doing it, right? They can do it during testing, right? It doesn't have to be this loud activity thing. So we're gonna practice it so that we can see how we feel. Okay, so we're gonna, when it goes into the breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold. Breathe out. Hold. How does that feel? I know it's only 1 time. We usually do it 3 times with them. And that's when it gets, it clicks a little more, but how do you feel? Relaxed, yeah. Sometimes our body tenses up, right? And sometimes we don't even know it. Like right now, you don't know who I am. I don't know who you are, right? And so it's like your body is tensing up, and it has a right to do that. It's doing the right thing. It's protecting itself, right? Then we also have a yawn and stretch with them. Oh my God, they love this one. They are screaming, and they're like, Yes. But I'm just gonna ask everyone to just stretch their arms up really, really high.
Take a yawn. Stretch out the arms too.
How does that feel? Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, I know. So sometimes we don't even notice that our bodies are tensing up, right? Our muscles tense up, right? Like I said, you don't know me, so your body did the right thing in reacting and protecting itself, right? So that's why your muscles were tense. And if I'm not mistaken, I think y'all had a service.